Hey everybody, Zuri here, and wanted to talk to you about dealing with the winter blues, which I know many of us deal with, but are we really well versed in how to deal with? Now, for me, the mid of this year in January hit pretty hard, and I was deep in the winter blues. And actually felt bad about it. So it's one thing, it's like I'm feeling bad because I'm feeling honestly a bit depressed. And then I'm feeling bad because I'm feeling depressed. How crazy is that? And really, what I'm proud of myself on is that I gave myself permission to be in it and work through it and continue working through it. And so I wanted to share some of that with you. Now, first of all, so I'm going to go deep for a minute and talk about understanding it for yourself. And then I'm going to give some general tips because we're all dealing with different stuff and every person's situation is unique, yet not. So first of all, winter blues, whether depression or in a slump or feeling stuck, simply is a state of being in contraction and out of balance. That's it. Not to minimize it, but to also not overgrandize it, that it's something that we can't deal with, because you can and can work through it. And so when you look at that, and if you think about it as, something is out of alignment that's causing me to be in contraction in a space that does not feel good at all, that allows you to be empowered to start to do something about it. So the first thing is to simply inquire for yourself and just feel into what's happening, what's out of balance. Is it my body? Is there something in my body that's not feeling good? Is it my mind, my mental state? Is it my heart, my emotional or spiritual state? And to look into that, because that helps guide you as to what to do about it. Now, for many, it's a physical thing. I mean, we're in the dead of winter. If you're in many parts of the country, it is cold, it is dark, you're not getting a lot of sun, you're probably not getting enough sun. There's seasonal affective disorder. So there's many things that could be happening that are physical. And so you could see, this is a physical time. This is a physical challenge that I'm dealing with. Or for others, it could be the physical of, I am exhausted. And if you're getting sick, if you are, now granted, we're in a pandemic and I can't even begin to describe how many people, I'm so sad to hear, are, dealing with COVID right now. But a lot of other people, especially coming out of the holidays and everything, and then suddenly everything is supposed to get started and pick back up in a big way in January, a lot of us are just purely exhausted. And do you need to give yourself a break? Let me tell you, it is so important. And for a lot of us, even if it's not COVID, we're getting sick because our body is breaking down. And it is like, hey, if you're not giving me a break, I'm going to force you to take a break. I literally just got out of a call with my tech automation person when she was talking about that, and was also talking about how good it was, unfortunately, that she was sick, but she just rested. So figure out what's happening, what part of you is screaming, I'm out of balance. Is it your heart or spirit? And for me, that was one of the big things. And going back to why I felt bad about feeling bad, because I realized that, wow, I felt bad. I was feeling depressed this exact time of year last year. And then, I realized and remembered, this is a really tough season for me because of my mom's passing. She passed on January 12th, and then a week later was her birthday. So she passed 1 week exactly before her birthday. And that is just a double whammy for me. And I know those dates are there, but I never expect that it's going to throw me off as much as it does. Versus now, I'm realizing like this isn't out of balance because my spirit and my heart are mourning. And I get to give myself permission to do what it needs. The other thing is, the mental, are you out of balance in your mental state? Are you stressed? Is there too much going on at work, at home, in your life? Is there a problem that needs to be solved that you've got to deal with, or you're not dealing with? And once again, when you allow yourself to come into check with it, one, allow yourself to be where you are, but then you're empowered to actually do something about it. So figure out what is the contraction. Where am I out of balance in any of those big areas? Allow yourself to actually feel what's really happening, because a lot of times when we hit depression and where we hit stuckness or that winter blues state, we're in a low energy and a low vibration state. And we don't want to be there. So instead of actually feeling and being in whatever emotions are challenging us, we actually distract ourselves so that we feel, so it soothes us and placates us, but it's actually not nourishing us. We're just soothing and distracting. And you've heard me talk about some of those things as well, so I won't go too deep into that, but give yourself permission to actually, at a deeper level, feel what's happening for you. So then you can ask that deeper part of you that knows what you need, and ask, what is it that I really need? What is that deeper part of me truly asking for? Is it asking to slow down? Is it asking for a break? Is it asking for some nourishment? Is it asking for clarity that's not there? Is it asking for separation or some action that you're not taking? But actually take the time and don't worry about the answer coming right away, but ask the question, because that will get the juices flowing. That will allow things to start moving. And it is amazing how in all sorts of different ways and different timing, the answer will come to you. But allow yourself to be present with, what do I really need, whether in this moment or in this greater space of life. And then the second piece is, or the last piece is, be willing to give yourself that. Be willing to honor what you need, even if it's a tough decision. Like, oh, I couldn't possibly do that. I couldn't possibly take 3 days off. I couldn't possibly just sit in my bed. So anyways, when you're feeling down, and allow yourself to get into flow of what is out of balance, because the winter blues is simply a reflection of some part of you that is out of balance, whether the physical part, because your body isn't getting what it needs, it's not getting enough sun, it's not getting enough rest. Your heart, your emotions, or your spirit might be out of balance because of something going on, something that's created sadness or hardship, or your mind, and you're stressed or things are going on. So that's the first part, in being able to see what is happening, what's out of balance, and then ask yourself, what do I actually really need, and be willing to honor it. Now, so that's the deep part. Now, the second part that's really powerful in dealing with it, these are just some universal things, regardless of which part of you is out of balance. And heaven forbid, it is super tough when multiple things are happening. And let me tell you, right now, this time, this pandemic, many of us are going through. It's like, it'd be one thing if I got hit hard with one thing, but it's like we get knocked upside our heads to and fro and and multiple things. And it is so much that, it breaks you down. It's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? And sometimes it feels like all we can do is just live and survive. And sometimes that is, but even in that, here are some quick tips to at least be able to deal better and move through what's happening and move yourself to a place where you're not just surviving, but thriving. So first of all, especially in the winter, get outside. I know this sound crazy if you're in the cold climate and you're like, it's -1, it's -2, bundle up, but give yourself a chance to get some fresh air. I can't even begin to say how important fresh air is. And you want to know, like, we could go into a whole science of, as you see, I'm out here, the power of fresh air, breathing, what it does to you neurologically, psychologically, physiology with that. Whether it's going for a brisk 5-minute, 10-minute, 20-minute walk, depending on how cold it is, or it's just coming and sitting outside for a minute and staring at, letting the sun shine on you. So fresh air and sun are so, so important. Getting vitamin D, Black women, studies show, tend to be the most deficient in vitamin D, which is a huge problem, not just in your daily nourishment, but can lead to all sorts of disease and so forth. So give yourself some fresh air. Give yourself permission to just, if you're working at home or even back at the office, go outside and take a quick stroll, take a break and get some fresh air. So, so powerful. The other part is to ask yourself, where can I slow down? What is it in my life where I can slow down or at least take a break to resuscitate myself? Now, I know, especially with family, kids, and so much going on, but where can I carve and give myself permission to carve 15, 20 minutes, an hour, gonna go crazy, a day for myself? And what does that look like? Now, if we're talking just carving out small chunks of time, here's the thing. When I say carve out time for yourself, I don't mean carve out time so I can sit and scroll through TikTok for 20 minutes. Now, yes, that might be a great mind break, but it's not resuscitative or doing anything on social media or what have you. But give yourself that time to nourish you, whether it is just to sit in silence and do nothing, super, super powerful, or meditate or listen to your favorite music, something inspirational, because inspiring and nourishing ourselves is so, so important. It could even be making time to be in connection. I don't know about you, but sometimes even my best of friends, it's like, how did this much time go by? Do I need to reconnect in an authentic way to just get my soul fulfilled, or some family that is, in authentic connection? So that's another thing, is making the time. Now, here's the other part to that really just doubles up and amps, helping you with some of these tough times, is whether you have a room, a chair, a corner, carve out a space that is your sacred space. It could be even a pillow or what have you. I actually am very blessed that I have my Zen den, and I have my sacred chair, and you will actually start to infuse that space with this energy of nourishment, of revival, of inspiration every time you go and just do things for you there. And so even just coming into the space, it will start to do better. And so that is one way to power pack. Now, if you're really feeling like you're just deep in it and deep stuck in it, it's okay. Give yourself a minute, give yourself that time, get up from wherever you are, do that sacred space for a few minutes, and even just go back, but allowing yourself the movement will help. So one thing I said, I was talking about that slow down, create that sacred space for yourself. And then the other part is the opposite of moving. And if you really are in that low winter blues, I don't feel like moving space, because I do want you to slow down and get the rest you need. But we also need to move our physiology so we are not stuck. And moving your body is so important. One, even just loosening the synovial fluids in your joints, moving, allowing oxygen to move through your body better. So even if you're just stretching in place, I will do some dancing in place, put on my favorite music and just dance, which, oh my gosh, will just really start to shift your physiology, shift your emotions really quickly. That one's super powerful. or even just doing a short workout, doing some yoga, going for the walk, but allow yourself to move your body. Even if I've given myself permission to rest all day, I will try and take just 20 minutes to move my body so that I can put myself in a better mental and emotional state with that. And the other part, lastly, to think about is, where do I need support? What do I need support in? Whether one, if you're really struggling in a deep way, maybe you need to do something deeper and get bigger support from someone else, whether a coach, whether a therapist, whether a hotline. And there are so many bigger, deeper ways to get support, or even calling a friend to asking, how do I, I'm struggling, I need some support. But other ways, it's just in moving through life that's getting us down. And we often, I find, believe unconsciously that we've got to do it ourselves. We've got to pull it through ourselves. We've got to hold it together by ourselves. And you don't. You are not alone. There are so many different ways and people out here wanting to support you. I'm right here, which is why I'm online right now. So drop me a line if you know that you need greater, deeper support. But look at who in your network, whether close, because sometimes, or not so close, but you feel drawn to reach out to. Sometimes even just being able to talk through. We don't need someone to solve our problems. We just need someone to be able to hear it. And sometimes just talking about it gives us insight and inspiration as to what we need to do about something to move through it. So don't be afraid to ask for support. Don't be afraid to say, everything, I was handling all of this fine on my own, but I need support now with the kids. I need support now with the household functions. I need support now at work. It is okay. You may not even know the answer, but you can have someone help generate the answer and solution to move you forward. But through all of that, know the winter blues, you are not by yourself. We all deal with it. I've been in it, and I was in it deep and had to go through dealing with it. And it is possible to move through it. Even if it is some of the bigger things, like there are just big, huge things you're out there dealing with, there is support that you have, that you can get. So figure out what is the biggest area where you need, that's causing the blues. Is it just being out of balance with things going on mentally, spiritually and emotionally, or physically, or some combination of the two? And then give yourself permission to actually be able to work through it. So that's all I got for you today. I would love to hear. Comment below and let me know, which of those tips are you utilizing? What are the parts that you are struggling with most, and how can we support one another in working through that together? But in the meantime, I'm going to go back to getting some fresh air, get some sun, get some fresh air, get some rest, and get some movement. And know that this too shall pass. Sending you big, big winter love. Until next week. Take care.